Teenagers, listen to me. Usually when people get into witchcraft, Satanism, or the occult, what happens is the first thing the devil needs you to do is to break your protection. Don't miss this, kids. Please don't miss this. There is a commandment with a promise attached to it. Listen to me. It's the commandment, just one. Honor thy father and thy mother, that your days may be long and all may go well with you. That means obey and honor your mother and your father. That's all God's asking out of you. Obey and honor. Two things in the whole Bible that he wants from you young people. Obey and honor. And the reason he's telling you that is because he has attached a promise of protection, longevity, and health to you. Things will go good with you. So when you get involved in any shape or form, see this, any shape or form, in even dabbling a little bit, the first thing he wants you to do is he wants rebellion in your heart, because it has witchcraft. It's as powerful and as strong. They go hand in hand. See what I'm trying to say about witchcraft? So when you get into rebellion, you don't honor your mother and your father. So that protection comes right off you. He doesn't have to do anything to you. You'll do it to yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why when people, young people, get involved in these things, the first thing you'll notice is you'll turn against your parents. That's the first, did you know, first thing. You listen to a lot of violent music, a lot of music that's coming through the TV, that's coming through your CDs, that's coming through your earphones, filling your head, recording all that in your mind, rebellion, violence, sexual promiscuity, vulgar language, hatred, enmity toward God. When you get in that condition, he don't have to do a thing. You will destroy yourself. You will run into your own problems, and you have nothing protecting you. I have a friend named Joshua Jones. His mother has been 17 years old. His mother's been speaking over that kid since he was a little boy. She taught him the Word of God. And I'm not talking about a queeby, geeky kid. I'm talking about a really nice guy. She spoke over him, Joshua, you've obeyed your mother and your father. You've honored them. Your days will be long and all go well with you. One day he was riding down the street with his aunt in a van. And the aunt did not notice that there was a gigantic truck coming in the country where no cars come. All of a sudden, on the clear blue sky, she pulls out in this oversized van. Joshua sitting without a seatbelt on. She pulls out into this lane, you know, out past the stop sign, and a massive utility truck with a real big spool on it is coming. And it slammed into Joshua's side. He died 3 times. He was crushed in the head. He got nailed at 55 miles per hour. He got hit in the head. With that thing just hit him head on, 55 miles, smashed him, threw him. He was a very strong, large kid, about 200 pounds. Threw him on top of his aunt who was driving, who went into the intersection by accident, crushed her pelvis, and was dead. If I walked, and all his mother said over his body, when he laid there all, you know, he's going to die, face the facts, he'll never talk, all she kept saying is, he's honored his mother and his father. Don't say that. He has a covenant. He honored his mother and his father. My girlfriend, best friend, Denise Jones, he will live and will not die. I have a covenant with God. He's perfectly fine. How did he come out of that? He honored his mother and his father, and the devil couldn't kill him, even though he tried. You see the point? You gotta keep the protection. That's a promise, and considering who made the promise, I'd run with that one. I mean, when God makes you a promise, you can take that to the throne room of grace. That one's solid. Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons. Here's a game, ladies and gentlemen, that some war enthusiast, Gary Gygax, made. He sat down one day and he put this game together. He called it Dungeons and Dragons, him and his friend. He put the game on the market. Nothing happened. Absolutely nothing. So he pulled the game off the market and he called his friend. He said, let's pick up the game more. Let's get 21-sided dice. Let's get characters. Let's get all kinds of sorcery in it and witchcraft in it. Let's hype the game. So his friend said, I'll throw in $1,000. Go ahead. So Gary and his friend built Dungeons and Dragons. They got Dragon Masters, really built the game, really got the characters where you had to literally live those characters in order to get the treasure, really move in that game. He puts it back on the shelves. It doesn't sell. Now, a mathematical genius in Michigan State University, a millionaire's son, bought the game. He just happened to be walking through the store and saw the game and thought, this is all right, I'll try it out, because it's a mind game. He took it with him home. He started playing the game. Then he took the game, he got so caught up in the game, he went down into the steam ventilation system of Michigan State University College in Michigan. Stayed there for 2 weeks, didn't eat nothing. Just stayed down there with the game, playing the game, taking on his character. Now, steam ventilation is when the steam will come real quick and it'll shoot down and shoot through these ventilation tunnels. So he had to always be on guard not to get in the way of the steam. So it was a challenge to him in his character, and it enhanced the game to him. For 2 weeks he stayed down there. He finally emerged pale, gaunt, hungry, with the game under his arm. Well, the media got their hands in it, did a big write-up in the paper. The game that year made $2 million. Today it's one of the top-selling games. You go in bookstores, it's one of the few games that has their own section to themselves. Can you imagine that? Monopoly would love it. I mean, they got the whole section, Dungeons and Dragons, books, follow-ups. It's one of the fastest-selling games. 168 deaths are attached to Dungeons and Dragons. You might say, well, you know, listen, ladies and gentlemen, one death attached to Dungeons and Dragons is too much for me. These kids said, a game, folks, it's just a game. I had a woman come to me on one of the end of the day, she goes, I don't know why you're attacking Dungeons and Dragons. And I said, I never attacked the game. I told you about the game. If I attack the game, honey, you're going to know I'm attacking the game. I talked about the game, sweetheart. I told you about the game. I read you stuff. She said, well, I don't know. I play it with my kids and the neighbors. I said, that's wonderful. That's just wonderful. Daytona Beach. After being stalked, strangled, and raped, the young runaway was subject to a final abomination. Her body was burned to Satan. Tammy was eliminated as if she were a Dungeons and Dragons character. They were becoming, here's another one talking on the coalition of TV violence. They are going to become desensitized toward violence. They're going to be prone to murder. All this, look at, here's a picture. Just time won't allow, it's already after 9. Just the write-ups. You want to read them, come see them. Kids playing Dungeons and Dragons. I'm glad my name isn't in here as a victim. It could be, you know, and so could yours. Because these kids that killed these people, these different write-ups, they were just normal kids. These were not kids out of detention homes. These kids were not drug addicts. These were middle-class, normal kids, just like you see here. But they went as far, involved in a role-playing game, to kill someone, to fulfill a character in the game. That's scary.